I'm going to be asking you questions about Hope Valley as you remember it from a long time ago.
I was born next door.
You were born next door on Spring Street.
101 years ago.
Terrific. And what is your birthday?
And these are 4 houses on the corner here with just 1-room houses.
Really?
I used to have a little dog. My friend used to have a little dog. We used to have a chain on it, you know, go up and down. Now, I was good looking then. Only time I ever was good looking because I didn't have to wear glasses. I was really handsome without these goggles.
Right.
And I've worn these for all these years.
Yeah. Were you born in Hope Valley?
Huh?
Were you born in Hope Valley?
Was
born
I
here?
what?
Born here in Hope Valley?
Born next door.
Right at the house.
In that house.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What year? What year were you born?
Oh, 1905.
Terrific.
Is that 101?
That is 101. What's your birth date? What date is your birthday?
August 15th,
Excellent.
1905.
Yeah.
Yeah. I belong to Hope Valley Baptist Church.
Yep.
85 years. My mother, I got a picture somewhere. I got a picture of her and me being baptized back of the church. The minister decking us and everything.
I'd love to see the picture.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that picture.
too.
You say you'd like to get that?
Yeah, I'd like to see the picture when we're finished. If you can show me the photo.
I don't know. Nancy failed me today. She got sick.
Yeah.
She was going to come and it's in the drawer in there, but God knows what drawer it's in.
We have plenty of time. We can find it later.
You know, I had all my papers, different ones, in the desk out there. I knew where everything was. She's one that always pick it up. And what she's done with my things, I don't know. I don't like to say anything because she's so wonderful.
Yeah.
But I wish she had left my things alone because I can't find them.
Can't find
now.
anything now.
Yeah.
So tell me about your earliest memories of Hope Valley. What was it like when you were
My
young?
earliest one,
Yeah.
I remember that my mother and father didn't have much money. I remember that. My father's family was very, you don't have to put this in there, but my father's family was very rich. Every time a boy died, they left everything. Poor, my father, we call him Poor Alan. Well, he was just like me. If he saw somebody needed something, he'd give it away, you know. He was a nice, friendly. At the end, he was janitor of the church up here. And I hope he got a little religion, but I don't know about that. But if those kids spit on the floor, he about killed them, you know, because he was so neat. But he was a hunter. He liked to hunt. And me and my mother adored each other. Of course, they found fault once in a while, but they were nice people. Yeah. And they always took care of my kids every time we wanted to go away in the summer. My husband and I would go up in the mountains all around. And I had 4 kids, and they took care of them. Yep.
What was your husband's name?
My what?
Your husband's name?
George V. Carr.
All right.
The first one.
Yeah.
Second one was Ford Green.
I knew you before you married Ford Green.
You knew me before?
Yes, I remember when you got married.
Ford?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, I told everybody, if God ever made a man angel, he was one. Oh, he never got mad.
Yeah.
We came home one night, and my kids and some other kids were out in that slot there. And I didn't realize they had bicycles, but they did. I guess I don't know how many. But anyway, Ford, he had just got a new car. He parked it out there. We come in. Well, do you know those dumb clucks went round that car? They kept going around. Oh, they scratched it all out. And we ever went out there and saw that car, my first husband would have hit high C. Don't think he would. He never opened his mouth. So I asked him after we come in and got settled. I said, Ford, you never said a word. Now this is what he said, and I can see his big eyes now. And I always remember when I get angry, I always think of him. He says, Gladys, what good would it have done? And you stop and think, you can get angry, don't do any good.
It does harm, actually.
So now I always think of that Gladys, what good would he have done. He was a wonderful guy, yeah.
Well, tell me a little bit about Hope Valley in the early days. What did it look like? Where did you go to shop, church, that sort of thing?
I went to church up there 85 years.
Hope Valley Baptist.
Baptist. And when I was a baby, we lived in a house down here, I guess. And as I say, I was born next door. And I've lived right around the valley here. My mother and father never had much money, but we always had enough to eat. We had a good name. Do you remember Howdy Woman say?
Yes.
The last, when everybody else died, he and I went together. His wife is dead.
Yeah.
And I used to have him down for supper sometimes. And he used to teach me baseball. I didn't know a ball from a bat, really. And he'd get, to show his anger, if he got mad at those Red Sox, he'd pick right up something and throw it across the room. He had a little temper, but I always liked him.
Oh, it was
And
wonderful.
one woman from church, I don't know who it is, I can't remember, she says, why don't you and Ford get married? And I looked at her, not get married,
Howdy.
live together. And I looked at her, and I said, listen, I've got a good name now, and I'm going to keep it. I don't know if she liked it or not, but we never lived together.
But how nice to have such a good companion. when
He
you
was
got older.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we would have liked to get married, but he's got a big family.
Yeah.
I've got quite a big family. And so in the beginning we decided we never get married. No? But I like him real well.
Good man.
Yeah.
Good man.
And he was go to a party, he was a party, you know. Yeah.
We've heard some good stories already about him and the old minstrel shows.
About what?
The old minstrel shows in Hope Valley.
Oh, he was
Howdy was quite a guy.
he was in all the minstrel
Yeah.
shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
He, very popular. Peg was too, his wife. She was my cousin. And she died down at Shady Acres. Well, I heard later something about that. I don't want his folks ever to know it, but I went down to Shady Acres quite a lot to sing like that. And I never heard anybody screaming there, never. But I grew acquainted with this woman from way off. She'd been there 15 years, can you imagine? She says, Gladys, she said one night, she said, we had a lady in here last night who screamed all night long and we couldn't sleep. Well, I didn't dream I knew who it was, you know. So then when I come home and found out it was Peg Woodmansey, I was mad. My anger. But anyway, I went down the next day or the day after, and I told those people, I said, that woman that disturbed you so much last night or the other night, I said, was dying. And I said, if God ever made an angel, it's her. She she put up with a lot of, you know, she wasn't perfect. I suppose she had her faults, I guess, but she never be mean to anybody. And she knew she was screaming and keep those people, she wouldn't sleep. And I hope her son never found it out, because they worshipped her. Yeah.
Why don't you move a little to your right, okay?
Yep.
And I'm going to put the camera there.
What else did you ask me?
Oh, I was asking you about Hope Valley in the early days and the kinds of buildings and what stores were there. You mentioned the church. And
Oh, that church, there's two churches always been here, the Catholic Church and that church. Now, I think there used to be a Presbyterian years and
Really?
years ago. Yeah. Yeah.
And did you go to Hope Valley School?
Hope Valley School.
Did you go there?
My God. I went to kindergarten there. When you're 5 years old, when you go, and all through, they only had, they didn't have 12 years of high school. They had 2 years, and then you graduate. So I went through the whole 2 years of high school, and we had a big graduation up in Barber's Hall. You have to get up on the stage, you go through all of that, you know. Then you had to go somewhere else for the other 2 years. Well, they had a Westerly bus that went to Wesley High School, but I didn't realize that. But I didn't think about it, to tell the truth. My uncles, I told you, owned Johnny Barber's store. He's the one that had the money. Well, some man from East Greenwich Academy went to see him, and I don't know how he ever did it because he's very stingy. But somehow he got that man to sign me up for 2 years to that 2 years of high school, East Greenwich Academy. Now, you know that's no slight thing. That was something. And I couldn't believe that he said yes. And I was kind of disappointed because I'd never been away from home. But I said, it was a boarding school. But I said, well, go down on the train and Friday nights and I'll come home, come home over the weekend. So they said they'd do that. But this is what happened. I tell this story. The girl I had to go with me, you have to, the old peanut roast. I don't ask me how it got its name because I don't know. But we went down to Wood River Junction, and then she got out with me because I was only she was 12 years older than I was. But anyway, we looked down the track, and there was the Wesley big train coming up the track. And guess what? I never will forget as long as I live. On the front of that train was a man. They picked him up. He stretched all over it.
Oh, my God.
I was scared to death as it was going away from home. So you can imagine what feeling. Something I never will forget, see that man. They took him off there at the depot. Yeah. But then we had to, we called that the peanut roast because it just went to River Junction.
What did you call it? Peanut?
I guess the kids, they like to raise the devil and eat peanuts and everything. Somehow that it got its name of peanut roaster.
Peanut roaster.
Now everybody's asking me that, and I don't know because so many years ago. But anyway, you stopped. They had just a little, not a station, but a place where you could buy tickets at Cananche and one at Woodville. Just two little buildings there, no depot, but you could get on north. And then it went as far as Wood River Junction. Then it turned around and came back. But everybody went. Yes, I went to normal school on that down thing. I went to East Greenwich Academy, went to Charleston School, taught school.
You rode the train to teach school?
I really did, because I couldn't drive anyway. We didn't have cars in those days either.
Yeah.
I haven't got a car now, so never did have a car.
But weren't you brave to go away from home on a train like that? That was very unusual, wasn't it?
I think it was,
Yeah.
because I was a second year of high school, so I
Right.
must have been 16 years old.
Right.
But it seemed awful bad when I going home anyway, going down there and staying all night,
Yeah.
look down and see that dead man. That's one thing I can't forget, but it's gone.
Oh,
So
I can imagine.
yeah, but I've had a good life, and as I say, I went down there, coming home weekends. I graduated from East Greenwich Academy 4 years. Then I had kind of a mixed up there. I was trying to think what I did. I wanted to finish my school, at Rhode Island College, and somehow, I'm trying to think, I got teaching down at Charleston School when they were building that new school, and the superintendent that run that knew me pretty well from around, and he wanted me to come to leave the high school that I was going to, come down there and teach third grade or fourth grade, I forget. So I did. I'm not sorry I did, because I got my time in there, and I went and took courses. I took courses nights, Sundays, holidays. I had 4 kids, remember, but I graduated with my class up there.
At Rhode Island College?
Yep, the same class. I got my degree. I got the books. I was going to show you, and the girl couldn't find them today, but they're in there because I saw them the other day. Yeah, so then, anyway, so I finished the school to Charleston, but then they had 8 different teachers there the day before, the year before. So I said, well, I guess I must have done something to satisfy that principal, because he hired me the next year, right up next to my house at the school up here. You remember the school was up there?
Yeah.
White school. And I used to have to walk down to school every day. So I taught 3rd and 4th grades there. And I was trying to think.
That must have been in the 1920s? Were you teaching school in the 1920s?
That's what I always wanted to do.
Yeah.
When I was a little girl, all I did go around and put the toilet paper. We used to have in packs, remember?
Right.
Put them in all the chairs and go around and put stuff in there. Always did that. But anyway, I'm trying to think how that happened. But anyway, I went to Hope Valley. I had four kids in between there, but I was trying to think. I taught school all the time, but I guess I had them before they were born. I can't remember. Anyway.
What was it like to teach school in those days?
What were kids like?
What were your students like?
What was what?
What were your classes like when you taught school there? What were the children like?
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I think I had sometimes. I think they gave me all the bad ones. Really. I know the very last day up here when we were getting through, they divided the grades, you know. So they divided my 3rd grade and gave me half and gave the other half. And when they gave me my paper with all these names on it, I looked at it. I knew right off what they had done. I looked over at my principal's face. He shook his, he knew too. They gave me all the ones that had discipline. I don't know why I never hit one in the world.
But he must have thought you could control them.
Well, somehow, I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But I couldn't stand a noisy room. You can't teach with a lot of noise.
Right.
I know down in the old school there in the beginning when I had, janitor was downstairs, I could hear him. So, and what was I going to say? Something. Oh, you remember Bill Kay that was here, the cop?
What's his last name?
Bill Kay.
Kay, yeah.
He used to stand on the corner a lot. Well, his friend was Odd. But anyway, I was a friend. I used to talk to Bill sometimes. I guess I told him how the kids made a lot of noise. Well, one day, I never forget, it scared me about to death. They were making their noise as usual, and I had the door shut. I looked up, and there stood that cop right in the middle of the room. Well, you know, those kids never had any trouble since then. They were perfect. I was scared still. It scared you know, it scared me too. But that's all they needed was a little scare.
Right.
Yeah. But I had a lot of bad classes. Oh, I had a lot of good kids too, I won't say that.
Right.
But toward the end there, the one down in Charleston, they had 8 teachers the year before. They couldn't, because they get after you if you hit one, I guess they did, I don't know.
Right.
And
But you never had to. You never had to hit any of your students.
No, I never
No.
would dare to. I'd get killed. But I did shake them up once in a while.
Did you teach a long time? Many years?
Many years.
Yeah.
I was going to count it up, but I forgot.
Hmm.
It wasn't 50, but it was close to
Close
it.
to it.
But I taught school at the intervals there at first,
Right.
and then
When your children were young.
yeah.
Right.
But when they were older, I did too. I went on the buses. I was going to get that all up, fix it all up. Nancy failed me today. She didn't come.
You can still do it because I live here in town and I can come anytime and look at it. And Nancy knows who I am. So that would be fine. Nancy and I
I'll give
know.
her the
That
I
would be
think
good.
I've got textbooks in there. I just sent the girl in, but I saw them the other day, but she'll find them for me. It's funny, when you get my age, I'm beginning not to remember. Yesterday I couldn't remember my daughter's name. I said, boy, oh boy, here I've been crowing about my memory. Can't remember my own kid's name.
Did you have brothers and sisters or were you an only child?
I had one brother. He died when I was 12.
Mm.
And his wife had divorced him. That killed my mother because she told reasons why he divorced her. She was a wonderful woman. And
He was older than you?
12 years.
12 years older.
He used to take me, he had a horse and wagon, you know, not many cars. Took me to west of the movies. They used to have movies down there, the silent ones, you know. No music or anything, over in the palace. used to take me over there. A lot of times we had good times. He was an awful good brother. But he got I guess it was cancer somehow. My mother took care of him. He died. She took care of my father beforehand. He died. So then she come up here to live with me after that.
Your mother must have been a remarkable woman. How would you describe her?
She was more than remarkable. She was a wonderful woman. Yep. I won't say she's perfect, but she was wonderful. It's the best mother I ever saw, I tell you. Yep. She loved her God, and she was baptized right with me. I got her standing right in the water with me. It's a beautiful picture. I have to show it to you someday.
Right. And your father, what kind of work did he do?
Oh, he was a labor man up in the woods.
Ah.
You know, men were farmers. It's all didn't have any education. He worked hard, but he actually trained dogs. He had beautiful dogs from Providence and all around. The beautiful ones. The doctors, they had beautiful dogs, I'll tell you.
What was your name before you got married?
Before I?
Yeah, what was your name?
Mine was Barbara.
Barbara, right.
You know any Barbaras?
Oh, there's lots of Barbaras here, aren't there? Yeah. Did you live near Woodmansey? Is that where your house was? On your the house you grew up in?
No. No, my
That was
house.
still right here, okay.
No. Woodmansey still my mother's house right across the road.
That's what I was thinking.
That's
okay.
near the station.
Yeah.
You stayed down there in a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when I had to get up and get, when I went to school.
Right.
Yeah.
What kind of things do you remember doing when you were a child for recreation? Did you play games? Was church most important, or?
Well, I was trying to think. Long time since I was little. I had girlfriends.
I'm going to move it
I
to the
guess
other
we
side.
had games.
So
I
move
guess
to the
that,
left, and I'll move to the right. Great.
My mother was very popular because all the women used to walk down the road to the post office, you know, in the days. And they always stopped to her house because she always had something to eat for them.
Really?
So she was a very popular lady.
Yeah.
She had her faults, but boy, to me, she was the most wonderful person. She was awful good.
Where was the post office then?
At that time, it was right across the road. You know where the store is now? Holly Woman's store, the
Yes.
big long, that long yellow thing.
Yeah.
The post office was in this side.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
One time, I think it was in the other side.
Right.
And
I remember when it used to be where the Western Auto
remember
was.
what?
The post office used to be next to the Western Auto store, too. Didn't it? Wasn't the post office next to the Western Auto store? Where you're...
I don't get what store that was.
Western Auto? Do you remember Western Auto?
She may not remember it.
Western Auto store.
Where was that?
Right there on the corner, I think.
The post office was over there in the corner,
Yeah.
right here in that big tall thing.
Right.
My
Okay.
mother's house was right there. They built that big long thing up in the air. I used to hang out clothes out in that yard.
Oh, the granary. Do you remember the granary?
Granary.
Yes, that's it.
Rollins, I got
Right.
a story of that,
Yeah.
how he built that house.
Oh, I'd like to see that story. Fascinating. It really was. I'll look at it before I leave because there's a lot of things.
It's in
out
there.
Yeah.
Nancy put those things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you go to the library when you were young?
Oh, I always went. I don't even know who's librarian down there now. When I went, these old ladies were there.
Do you remember Gladys Seeger?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mary Lillibridge.
Yep.
Martha Holdridge. See, Martha Holdridge and Holdridge were teachers for a long time.
Oh,
I had them in school.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, they were your students? They were your students in school?
You what?
They were your students in school?
Oh, I was a student.
Yeah.
And even in those days, they had a drawer in their desk, all of them,
Yeah.
and they had straps in there. But God, those kids, they didn't mind. They hit them on the hand. Howdy's hands, probably you never noticed, his little hands were all crooked. He was not proud enough to admit that's what it was. I told him he ought to be ashamed of himself. He got that strap every day. You know, my father was so much against that. He said that's the only way a boy has a way to get a living, and not to hit their hand. I think if one of us had ever hit one of those kids' hands, I think he'd been awful, awful mad. But they used to Martha Holdridge and Ida Darkway, because I was right in the room there then. You know, all the boys didn't behave, got that strap on. She'd go and pull that. I can see her do that now. They were both homely hedgehog. They were awfully homely two teachers, I think.
But those are Howdy Woodmansey's hands you were describing? It was Howdy's hands that got hit?
No, Howdy wasn't with me.
Oh,
he was a little older.
Yeah.
Yeah. But his hands, he got it every day.
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah.
Every day he got it. And they were awful crooked, just like that. I used to give him the dickens for it. He was kind of, thought was proud, I guess, but everybody liked him. He was funny, you know. He was fun of the party, but everybody liked Peg too. I think she was an awfully good girl.
So, tell me about some of your early memories about the train. Do you remember the circus coming to town, or do you remember certain people coming in on the train that were newcomers to town?
I can't remember. You see, I wasn't on it too much, you see, only days and nights.
Do you remember when the circus came to town?
Never what?
The circus came to town?
Yeah, but I don't know if they came in on the train. I think they came the trucks up to Barber's Hall.
Wow.
I don't know. I remember watching people come in. And I've got a picture there somewhere of a store. The men worked in this Johnny Barber's store, I guess, where there was unloading freight there. Yeah. I used to work at that depot summers. The girl Belle Carpenter married, had one, and she hired me for bookkeeper summers. I learned an awful lot, I'll tell you. So I was a good bookkeeper too.
So you worked hard, didn't you? You always worked.
All my life.
Yes.
All my life. No, I love to dance. That's one thing I like to do. But we didn't go to Bay.
Where would you dance?
Well, my husband would only go to the lodges, you know, and he had to work nights too. So my mother didn't allow me to go to public dances. Sometimes I'd get stinked into one. All those old men, you know, really old men, they'd get me in the middle of that floor. I was frightened to death. But I stood up to them. I don't know how I ever did. You know that old-fashioned one they used to use where they twist you around?
Right. What kind of dances were those? Do you remember?
Ones I like the best is the waltz and foxtrot. I like an old-fashioned waltz. I love it. Yeah.
Where were those held?
I guess.
Where were the dances held? Where did you go to the dances? At the lodges?
Oh, the lodges, the Grange Hall, the Oddfellows.
Yeah, Oddfellows, right.
Yeah, my folks would never let me go to a public dance.
And were there public dances somewhere? Where were they?
Where were the public dances held?
They had them all around those lodges I'm telling you about, but they had some public ones at Shannock and around.
Oh, is that right?
Different places. Yeah.
And do you remember going to the movies in Hope Valley?
They had movies up here, but they weren't color or anything. But my mother and I used to walk up some Saturday nights up to Barber's Hall. That's up there where the bag is. And they had a nice, it was a movie, but it wasn't in color or anything. But those are the, we used to go because my husband would work Saturday night. Yeah.
Did you ever take the train to Providence to go to the movies?
Train? Well, I took a train to Providence for something, like, I don't know, it was for movies, you know. I can't remember. I used to go to private school because I would have on the big bus.
Right.
Yeah.
By bus.
What was Westerly like?
Can you describe Westerly for me?
As a town,
Yeah.
not very well. What about it? I mean, it's changed now a lot.
Was it a big place to go? Did everybody enjoy going to Westerly?
Well, I know when I was young, that's about the only place we could go shopping. Yeah, a lot of people go to Westerly because it's down by the beaches, you know.
Right.
You have those nice beaches down there. So a lot of people go to Westerly.
Did she ever go to the beach?
Did you like to go to the beach?
I used to like to go.
Yeah.
I don't like to go now.
No.
I don't look good in
I
the
don't-
bathing suit.
Right, me neither. What beach did you go to? Weekapaug?
But my father used to work down the Qualicantog in the store.
Yeah.
My mother used to go down. We used to go down summers there. So it was just a little bit from step right up onto the beach.
Yeah.
So I used to go to that beach a lot. And we've been to Charleston Beach, Matuna. Not too much, but I didn't look good in the bathing suit.
I bet you did. I bet you did.
A little flabby. You know how much I weigh now?
Oh, you're thin.
100.
Yeah.
My God, I used to weigh almost over 150.
Yeah.
I've got pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe it. My arms have gone
But
down.
you look great for 101. Is it
Yes.
101? Yeah, you look
Yeah.
terrific.
I agree.
Everybody tells me that.
Yeah.
I
What-
can't see your faces at all.
Yeah.
I can't read. I love to read.
How about, do you ever listen to books on a tape recorder? Somebody reading the books to you on tape?
I've done that, but I didn't like it.
Yeah. It's hard, isn't
I
it?
don't like the TV very well. I can't
Yeah.
see it.
Right.
I just thank God. I guess I got my.
You got your head together.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think you went to college and school? Why were you so interested in learning? That was unusual, wasn't it, for a young woman
Go where?
to go to college and to go to work like you did?
Go to college. When you graduated from high school, everybody went to get some occupation.
Right.
Teachers and everybody.
But most women went into the mills and worked there, but you chose to go to teaching.
Oh yeah. I used to teach when I was a kid. I love it.
You loved it.
Always have.
Yeah.
Now they're all saying that I was the best teacher they ever had around here. Yeah.
Did boys ever
They
go to
know me
college?
enough in Hope Valley. I bet I could tell every person who used to live on this road.
Yeah, I bet you could. We're going to talk to Ann Wilcox in a few days. Do you remember Ann?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's they took her down there, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And she used to come here a lot. She lived right up here.
Yeah.
But her mind was going a little bit.
Yeah.
Some people say now it is. Somebody says it's all right. So I haven't been down because with these eyes I can't go in. I can't
Right.
see where I'm going or anything. And she was very friendly with me for a while there.
Good.
Yeah.
Did many of your friends that were boys go to college? Did you know many young men that went to college?
Went to college.
Yeah. Some of your students go to college?
Oh, you mean after?
Yeah.
Afterward. Well, yes, I must have had somebody must have gone. I had some smart kid.
How about the hurricane? Do you remember the hurricane?
I do, yeah. I was down, I lived here, I think, at that time. Nancy was a baby. She was about a year old, I guess. She was born in 1937. And I wheeled her in her doll carriage down to my mother's house, down in the corner. We didn't know anything about any hurricane there. Well, my girlfriend who had moved to Ashway, she had a little girl the same age my junior was, and she'd taken a horse and wagon and gone to Providence that day. So she was just coming home from Providence when that thing hit, Well, they didn't know what it was. So she stopped down to my mother's house and got out and wanted to use the toilet. They had those 3 holders, 10 holders, 3 holders, big toilets outside. Well, you know, they got out of that car, and they just about got ready to go in there, and that darn thing went over backwards. And it went right down a big steep hill. So then they came in the house, of course. That's the first we knew of the hurricane. Then when it's time to go home, I had to walk home because High Street, I had big trees across the street.
Must have been very frightening.
But it was kind of bad. It was we didn't get it as much as some people, but the windows had blown in and everything.
Do you remember any big fires in Hope Valley?
Any what?
Fires in Hope Valley? Like when the granary burned down or the mill?
Oh, it was destroyed at that time. I should. The elevator was, but I don't think that was the hurricane that did that.
No,
that got on
later.
fire. I don't know. I can't remember that far back. But it seems so a lot of cars down. They must have, you know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about buying a car? What were roads like?
Do you remember what the roads and streets were like
What
when you were
was?
young? What the streets were like in Hope Valley? Were they all dirt or were they paved?
I think they were. Or macadam, they might have been that black stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing like they have now.
Did she learn to drive?
We used to have, during the war there, they had a stand over one of these lots where they had people to go up and watch, you know, for airplanes.
Oh, really?
I used to do that.
Did you do that? You were an observer.
They used to
Spotter.
look for, you know, airplanes that were German or something. They one of these lots, I can't think now which one it was. We lived down the road then, but I know we used to come up and go up that. Yep.
Did you know how to drive? Did you drive a car?
No, I never wanted to drive. My husband never had time to teach me. He always had to have the car. I bought cars for them.
Yeah.
But anyway, what was I trying to say? Twice. Trying to think. I tried to drive. My girlfriend tried to teach me once. Twice I did. I was trying to think. Once Junior was a baby in my arms. I went over a big rock up here to Rockville. And the other time, I was at Wheel then. But another time, I was up to coming back. I had driven all the way to Ashway. I'd done quite well. Coming back, just as we got opposite High Street there, turn off. Somebody hollered, turn up here and we'll go get some red berries. We had a church supper. We'd been over there and got red berries, but they wanted some green stuff, you know, to put with it. So they said that so fast that it was the wrong thing to do because I didn't take time to know what I was doing, you know. So I turned that wheel quickly. These two wheels went right over a big boulder like this. And the thing almost tipped over. Both kids we had in the back seat, they were hovering their heads off. This one that was here was over there on the floor. This one was over there. And we didn't get her, but the tires were kind of smashed up. And so we walked up and down the road there, and then we called up. My husband was working down the road. I told him I had a flat tire. So when he came up and said, "He's got a flat tire," all right. He didn't dare say anything because I bought the car anyway, but he didn't dare say anything. But it's a wonder we hadn't got killed. That was twice. I said, I'm not going to try to drive anymore. I get too nervous. If the right people would offer to show me, you know.
But you could walk most places, right? You walked to
Right
stores.
here, yeah.
You did your shopping in the stores here?
My shopping,
Grocery shopping?
they always took me in the bus. One of the kids always took me out shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever call and order your groceries and have them delivered?
Well, not very often because we used to drive right up, pick them right up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the time I could. Now today, my daughter Nancy is supposed. They gave her a list yesterday what I wanted. She's supposed to get it today, bring down. She didn't do it because I think she's sick. She was sick with a cold yesterday. Because she wanted to be here today awfully bad.
Yeah, I'd like to see her, so that would be...
She would know a lot more. She wanted to come badly. I thought she might poke her head in, but I was glad she didn't because it was raining.
Oh, it's very nasty.
And that cold. She was out yesterday. I was afraid of it.
Do you remember going shopping at Browning's?
Do you remember Browning's store in Hope Valley? Browning's store?
Browning's
Yeah.
store? Do I remember it?
Yeah, what was it like?
Browning's store was I liked it. It was old-fashioned. It was old, very old. But I used to go in there a lot. I liked all the people in there. What about it, dear?
It was sort of a meeting place where people would go and just to visit and have...
Well, I imagine some of the older men did that. But it was always a nice... I liked the people there. I never went up there too much. We had stores here, stores up the road. But Browning's store was always considered a very respectable store. Yeah.
What would you buy in there? What would you buy in Browning's store?
Well, they had all kinds of groceries.
Mm-hmm.
I think they used to have stuff like boots and shoes and things. I think they had all those things too. And of course, we never went there too much because it was up the road. I always liked Browning's. They were good people.
Who was your best friend when you were growing up? Did you have a best girlfriend?
Dorothy Martin.
Dorothy Martin.
She did. She used to be Dorothy Stan.
Dorothy, what was her last name? Stanley? What was her last name?
It used to be Stanley.
Stanley.
Arthur Stanley, the fire chief, was his sister. But now she married a Martin. And they lived over at Ashway. She's got children, I guess they're still living. Well, she and I was just like sisters. She lived across the road or something. She went a long time ago. Sometimes I wonder where all those people went. It's gone. Doesn't seem possible.
But you have so many wonderful memories of these people and places.
Oh, yeah. Now, last week or 2 weeks ago, my best friend across the road, Polish girl, I know her ever since I've been here, and she died. And I miss her so much. And she was Polish.
What was her name?
I'll tell you in a minute. Isn't that funny? I tell you my memories. But I know that name. I'll think of it.
Think of it, I know.
Yeah. She's got 2 daughters, Diane and Johnny Gilman's wife.
Diane.
I can't think of her name. I should know.
So
She's got a couple of
Polish
sons.
community? Were there other ethnic groups?
The Polish community was very strong here in Hope Valley. There's a Polish American club, and the Polish women came to work in the mills, and the Polish men. Do you remember that when they came, the Polish folks came to Hope Valley?
I know they seem to me they've always been in the valley. As far as I remember, little girl, Polish people in there. Not so many in here now.
Right.
They were all some darn nice Polish people.
Right.
I had a lot of kids in the school. But I don't think there's quite so many Polish people. They died off.
They were very strong here, though. They came, I guess, to work in the mills.
We had good mills here. Yeah.
And then the Catholic Church was mostly a Polish church, right?
They got a Catholic church here. Oh, yes, Father was Polish. I always liked the Polish people.
We talked to Mary Popiolik today.
Oh, yeah. She's a lovely person.
She's great.
I like her.
Very nice.
I haven't seen her in a long time.
She's hoping to move back to Hope Valley. She moved away, you know.
She was what?
She moved away to Wakefield, and she's hoping to move back to Hope Valley again. That would be nice if she'd come back. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about Hope Valley that we have forgot to ask you?
Tell you an awful lot, but I forgot half of it.
Oh, you've been wonderful. No, wonderful.
Well, we've learned a lot.
We used to have a band, Hope Valley Band, and I played all over those hills. The pond over there, Locustville Pond, is beautiful. That guy there was just in here. He lives in Rockville, but he come down, bought the house across the road. But that street is beautiful. Yeah.
Do you remember the band? What do you remember about the band?
Being a little girl sitting, they had a bandstand up there, you know.
Yeah.
We used to sit on the steps and listen to it.
Did you ever play an instrument?
I never did. My daughter Nancy did. She had a cornet. She played.
Oh.
Yeah. I played the piano a little bit, but not very much.
Do you remember the bandstand
Bandstand?
near the Oddfellows house club? There was a bandstand. Do you remember that?
The bandstand was one over there on that street.
Yeah.
Maple Street. That little house over there used to be a band house.
Oh.
They made it into a big house now.
Oh. So it was there in Maple Street. Is there anything else you can remember that you'd like to tell us now? We can come back another time too, but I wanted to make sure. Your memory's wonderful.
Because the old school that I went to kindergarten myself, and I taught school until it burnt down, but what's that to say?
It burned down? I didn't know that.
No, I guess they took it down.
They took it down?
Yeah, because they had the new one up there, you
Right,
know.
right.
Oh, I was trying to tell you about, they had a boys and girls, you know. They had a fence in the back, toilets, outside toilets when I went to school. And the girls had one side and the boys had another side. I have a friend who taught school over there, a young girl, the other day, and she's teaching over the Ashway now. But she told them that she had a friend that was 100 years old, and that's what they had been learning about, you know. So she asked me to go over there and meet those little kids. I think they were second graders or first graders. The first question, they raised their hand and asked me, guess what it was? About toilets. The first one. I had a laugh, she laughed, and I told her all about it. I said, we had two separate toilets. I said, the boys weren't supposed to go near the girls. We weren't supposed to go over there to play. Oh, they got the biggest kick on that. Yeah. I can't think of the name.
Not Kenny Gunther.
Huh?
Kenny Gunther? Gunther? No?
This was a guy that lived up there with a horse and wagon. I can't think. He got through anyway. This is Gina. Gina, what?
Very simple.
Anyway,
Lee.
huh?
Gina Lee.
Well, anyway, she taught over there in a couple of years. And they live and he's had one at the scout camp. But anyway, now what I started to say.
About
Sorry,
visiting the
say
class
Visiting the classroom?
and the toilets.
And then she came with a new baby to your.
Oh,
yeah.
yes, she brought her just had a little baby. A doll. Just a doll, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's terrific.
She was an awful nice girl. She's going back teaching over there, though. I don't know how she's going to teach with that little boy, but he says she is.
Yeah. Well, you managed to teach with children, too.
Yeah, but I had a mother and father.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let anybody else babysit. I never had a babysitter for my folks but them. They had a fit. My mother thought the world of those kids. I was glad because we used to go away sometimes a weekend, you know. My husband liked to go up the mountains and all. Never had to worry about those kids. Oh, I loved those kids.
Where would you go in the mountains? To New Hampshire? Where did you go to the mountains, you said? New Hampshire?
Oh, but New Hampshire, yeah. All those resorts up there, Niagara Falls,
Oh.
all of them.
Would you drive? Your husband would drive the car?
He
there?
did.
Yeah.
I never drove.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone far if I'd driven, I guess.
We already heard about that.
Right.
But you know, that's one thing I wish I could do. But now I don't care. But you often wish you could drive. And I don't know, somebody said, "You'll be glad you can't." Maybe I am, because I'm very nervous if I ever had accidents. Yeah.
I read about an accident you had with 5 other teachers. It's in the scrapbook.
I told
Yeah,
them.
did you? Yeah. We have pictures. You're not
I'm going to go look at the
Yeah,
pictures.
yeah.
Yeah.
I landed right in the bottom.
We're going to go look at the photographs. If you think of anything else that you'd like to tell us about, we'll be here for a few minutes.
I told you a lot of my stories, but I think I told them about all.
Did you mention about the train and the man that had gotten hit?
Yeah. Isn't that an amazing
Yeah.
story?
Her
Really.
daughter Nancy didn't even know about that, but she had mentioned this to me.
What a horrible thing to see on your very first
Oh,
trip.
I was scared stiff,
I
you know,
can
imagine.
going away from home.
Yeah,
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
that's a vivid memory.